And the Lord showed me a vision, and then I didn't know what it meant. So I asked Tiffany about it, and it was her that really brought meaning to it. So she's going to bring that meaning after I read you the vision. So I was just in the office and praying, and Jesus appeared, and he says, asked me if there's something I desired. And I said, well, yeah, I love to have visions, so I just asked for that. And so he says, yes, come with me then. And then as I walk toward him, everything changes. I'm surrounded by beautiful plant life and walking in low grass, and there are animals are all around too. I was kind of concerned with the larger ones. There were all like tigers and bears and just dogs and stuff. There were just all manner of animals, and I don't know, the ones with teeth are concerning kind of, and but they all seem so calm that, and they all seem to get along together too, which is kind of different. But so we just kept walking, and after a while, I paid little attention to them. We walked for some time, and it was not in silence either. We were talking the whole way. I don't know why, but I don't remember what was said most of the time that we were conversing. So, and then I noticed that Jesus is heading right toward a large tree, and I didn't have any idea where we were. In the middle of an astonishingly beautiful forest, I guess. As we approached this tree, I noticed that there's fruit on it. The fruit looks awesome, bright red in color and rather large, like a size of a grapefruit. And it's low hanging. It just begs to be picked. It just looks so easy to walk over there and just pick this beautiful fruit from this tree. And Jesus stops before we get there, and he says, "This is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't eat from it." And he went on, "Those who eat from this tree will be hungry again, and in fact will never be satisfied. They will always desire its fruit and chase after it always." So from there, Jesus turned to the right from facing the tree, and again started walking. I found myself getting quite hungry. This walk seemed quite long to me. A considerable amount of time passed, and I really wanted to eat. Then Jesus turned toward me and said, "Just a little further. Hold on for a little longer." So we kept going. I saw a tree up ahead that he seemed to be heading towards. As we approached this tree, it didn't look as attractive as the tree of knowledge. The fruit was smaller and not, you couldn't reach it from the ground. And the tree looked like it would be a bit difficult to even climb to get to the fruit. Jesus said, "This is the tree of life. If you eat from it, you will never be hungry. So go ahead and eat." So with some difficulty, I climbed up this tree, and it was a ways up, and I climbed until I could reach the fruit. And so I picked one of the fruits, and then I didn't feel comfortable eating it while in the tree, so I had to climb back down and holding on to this fruit. So that was difficult as well. The fruit was somewhat smaller, like an apple maybe, like a large apple. I climbed down and took a bite. something else too. It was also green. We don't know exactly what that means, but it was. Anyway, I took a bite. It was sweet, but it took a lot of chewing and was hard to swallow at times. I ate it, started to feel different than I had previous. Just like I felt better than I ever had before. And I don't know. It was just a general sense of well-being. There were no seeds inside, and as I ate, I became pretty full, even though it was rather small when compared to my hunger when I started eating it. I started thinking about just tossing the remaining portion because of the fullness I felt. Right then, Jesus said, "You must eat the whole thing for the full effect of the life which this tree is named for." And then it was just the end. It just abruptly ended right there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
We know that there's an awakening happening right now in America in general and all over the world, really. But, as we know it right now here in America, we know that there's a huge awakening happening. People are coming straight into this thing full steam because they're starting to find out who they are. And this is whether, no matter what race or whatever you want to go with. And I do believe that the Indians probably there very well could be literally Jews, a Gad. I know that there's several different theories on that because we know in Revelation it talks about people that say they're Jews and are not.
Yes, right. Revelation 2 verse 1.
Right, and so there's a very strong possibility in my mind that the Native Americans, at least some of the tribes, could literally be Jews and not just one of the tribes of Israel. But that's we'll talk about that in a second. But the idea that there's so many people running to Yeshua and running to his word and running back to the original church tells me that there's something to all this, and not just in Native Americans, but in everybody that's coming to it. Because I just watched a video, and this is interesting. They were doing DNA tests on a group of people. There was probably 50 people in the room. They were doing DNA tests on all these people. There was one individual that stands out to me that was he looked Native American 100%. In his DNA, they found almost every nation in the world in his DNA, which goes with my theory of the idea that the original man had every nation DNA in his blood at that time, and that's how we get so many different variations, because all of it was in that original DNA. So I believe that there's a very good opportunity, since Israel was scattered amidst the entire world, that there's not very many pure blood people that can trace their lineage back to a single person, same exact person throughout the time, other than like the elites or something. And most people have a very huge variety of mixture. There's a very good chance, in my opinion, that the Israelite blood has touched so many people because of mixed breeding and all that stuff. It's so interesting the way it's all taken. But there's a clear thing here. Like, the people that are for this and the people that are into it, the people that are coming to the Messiah are finding out they're Israel. You don't have to talk them into it, like whereas in modern day churches, you have to like philosophize. You have to come to them and give them a real good argument and talk them into this and all that. With this, it's not like that. You hear the voice, you realize who you are, then boom, you run to it. And that's one of the greatest proofs I see in the Native American reservations. Talk a little bit about what's going on with that, because when you go and present this to your brothers and your sisters, how is it being received?
Well, I'll tell you. Actually, I'll tell you a story of something that took place with some of our elders when a little over 10 years ago they went to Israel, and they went to the Knesset. They went there to protocol. This was a delegation of First Nations chiefs, spiritual leaders, and elders. And again, like I said, it wasn't all the tribes that were monotheistic. There were tribes that were polytheistic and worshiped all sorts of different gods. We're just speaking for the tribes that even my people, after the centuries, ended up worshiping other gods and elements and things. But in the ancient times, we were strictly just believers in one God. But this delegation went to Israel, and received permission to go to the wall and to be there on behalf of Chief Cornerstone Yeshua. And so they went down to the wall, and they had their drums, and our elders were dressed in their traditional regalia, and they started to sing traditional songs. These are native songs that have been passed down for generations. Well, immediately the Hasidic Jews, the Orthodox Jews, some of the other, they came and telling them, stop singing right now. And our elders were saying, why? And in our tradition, you can't stop a song. So even if you're singing, you can't just stop the song until it's finished. So the people kept singing, and they said, you're singing in High Hebrew. Who taught you our songs? And the elders said, these songs have been passed down for generations. And then they said, you're singing the name of our Most High Elohim. You must stop. And again, the chiefs and elders said, this is what we've always called him. This is how we've preserved his name in our songs. And so you know what happened? Many of these, the Jewish people that were there at the wall, the Hasidics, the Orthodox, they came, and at the invitation of the native people, came to the drum and started singing with the elders and the spiritual leaders. And they were singing his name out loud.
Tell them what the Cheyenne call themselves.
Yeah, so the Cheyenne tribe, and of course Cheyenne, Cherokee, these are all modern names for their tribes. The traditional name of the Cheyenne was and is Tzitzitza, which means the people of the fringes.
Whoa, that's cool. That is seriously cool.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten into like the Star People stories and the giant tribes and all. There's just so much. So next question, brother.
Okay, TCs, man, that's cool. That gave me goosebumps.
My name's Peacemaker, Swampy Cree Territory, Turtle Island. My birth certificate name is Joseph Bignell. I like to share some visions. I like to share a particular vision, the Ascension Dream to the Tree of Life. It was 2005, January. Went to bed, and when I noticed I was awake, I opened my eyes. My hand was up, and in the silhouette within the sun. I knew I was offering tobacco at a fireplace. I looked down, I seen a big fireplace, seen the sweat lodge. I closed my eyes and I said my prayers to that tobacco to be carried to Creator. And to be carried through the prayers, through the smoke, up to Creator. I opened my eyes. I went around the fireplace 4 times. And then I put the tobacco into the fire. And I looked around and I noticed there was just elders and children. There were no young men around. No men, no young men. Just children and elders. So I said to the Scabes, the helper, Scabes, where's all the warriors? And he looked at me and smiled. It's like I can hear him, but he wasn't moving his lips. He just smiled. He said, there's only you. We've been waiting for you. I'm glad you are here now. We've all been waiting. Don't be scared. There's just you. And I looked around again. I looked at the sweat. The sweat lodge looked see-through, but I knew it wasn't. And I looked at the elders and children all around me again. They're just like waiting for me to just do or say something. So I went in, I crawled into the sweat lodge on all 4, because everything on earth is the same. No one's higher or lower. We're all equal. I crawled into the sweat lodge on all 4, and I noticed right away where the grandparents are placed. The stones and the water, the life source to cleanse, like a sweat or whatever they call, where the people go to a sauna. There you go, sauna. Instead of one, like a regular sweat, or like a sweat, you know how when you see a sweat, there's one hole in the ground with all the grandfathers, grandmothers, the stones that where we put the water on, and then the sweat purifies the prayers, and the prayers go up. Anyways, I noticed there was two of them, and I said to the Scabas, "Why is there two places for the grandfathers and grandparents? Why is there two places for the grandparents?" And he said, "There's only you. It's for you. We've been waiting for you. You have to sit in the middle, in between them." So I did. I sat in between those two places where the stones go. And then I looked around, the sweat looked see-through again. I looked down, like I lifted the tarp up. I can see all the elders and children, they moved a little bit closer. It was all around, like, all around. I remember the landscape. It was sunny, very sunny out, hardly clouds. It was hot. It was by the Umperville Road turnoff from the tracks. It was just right there on the first turn, on the ditch part, that little walking path going towards my friend Delbert's and his family's house, towards that path going towards my buddy Lyle's and his family's, that little path there cutting off Umperville Road. But that's where it was. I knew where I was. I knew it was Swampy Cree territory. Everything was the same except there was no malls, no buildings, no homes, no nothing like what we see today. But other than that, the landscape was there, the shape, everything. Just imagine no buildings around. That's how it looked. And I said to the Scabas, "When are we going to start to sweat?" You know, I was anxious, I was nervous, I was kind of scared. At the same time, I was happy. I felt this energy in me. It was like, unbelievable. Awesome. So he goes, "Well, we're going to start." Then I heard like a thundering voice, "Bring in the life!" And it is loud. I knew what that meant. Right away, the Scabas bring the water, poured it on the stones. And it got real hot, and the song started. Boom, 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 boom. I started singing the turtle song, the bear song, the eagle song, all these songs, these sacred songs. And we'd done that first door, and I wanted some warriors there with me, or someone. I said, "Scabas, where's the warriors? When are they coming?" And it's like I was so up close to him again. I could see him smiling, but his lips were not moving. But I can hear him. He said, "There's only you, peacemaker. Don't worry. We've been waiting for you." So I heard it again. "Bring in the life." This time it was getting stronger. Boom, 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 boom. The songs were going, the prayers. Then the third door. I looked down. I lifted the tarp again, and all the youth and the elders were closer. And this time, during the third door, "Bring in the life." The Scabas bring in the water, poured it on the stones, and we started singing the turtle song. And I can hear the elders and the youth singing along with me, but quietly. It sounded lots. And it was going louder, louder. It was getting more hot. The prayers were getting more felt from my heart, my soul. And the fourth door. And he said, "Scabas, where's the warriors?" And he said, "Don't be scared. It's only you. There was only you. We've been waiting for you." So I said, "Okay, burn some tobacco." And he burned tobacco. And then the fourth door came. "Bring in the life." boom, 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 really loud. The singing was loud. I was yelling out my prayers in tears, standing up in the sweat. And I noticed the elders and the youth, they came all running towards the sweat. They grabbed it and started shaking it, singing along with me, singing along with the turtle song, the truth song. See the truth on the turtle's back. He comes across the great waters. He showed the people to sing and dance. That's the truth song. Those are the lyrics. And while they were praying, singing along with the sweat and drumming, and everything was just going loud, and they're shaking a tent, and everything was just going really fast, like powerful. I heard this eagle, like just calling. I opened my eyes from praying. I looked up into the center of the sweat. It opened up like a hole. I could see the blue sky. And all of a sudden I felt like something pulled me up. And I was that eagle. I was that eagle flying through the sky, blue sky, and everything went dark. And I can see blackness all around. I can see things far up ahead, like stars or something. And I see that light. I feel something grab me. It starts pulling me forward. And that little speck of light comes forward to me, and all of a sudden I'm in space. I'm looking around. I'm kind of scared and amazed what's going on. I keep praying to keep on the good side, to keep the good spirit going. I don't want no fear. I looked up ahead again into the darkness. I seen a light. Then that light started pulling me forward, like really fast. I don't know what was going on. But I kept with the Lord in my heart. And then that light got bigger. Boom, it's like it pulled me into it. That whole light became... I was hugging the tree. I opened my eyes. I was in tears of joy. I recognized the tree. It was like at my Sundance, my first Sundance. So I started praying hard. I wanted to see where I was. I opened my eyes and looked around. You could see like the world was going fast, chaos, everything, except there was peace. Nothing couldn't affect me. Nothing couldn't affect anyone. And I looked around. I looked to my right. I saw elder rainbow woman, Connie, the one who showed me the path. In 97, I went to my Sundance first time. She was there. She was just smiling at me. And I started praying, hugging the tree of life again. And went. I felt someone stand beside me. I looked. He was about 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. He was dressed like the shawl, regular and all that, like how Jesus wears his robe. He was dressed like that, plain linen, nothing fancy. And then when I looked at his face, and you could see the light, kind of see like a beard, curly hair. And from growing up, remembering my visions and these spiritual things that have happened, I told myself, if I ever see him again, I want to see his face. So I tried. When he was standing beside me at the tree of life, I tiptoed a little and looked right into his face. The only thing it did was just go really bright, like very bright. It was an awesome feeling. So I just grabbed the tree of life again, started hugging and praying. That's when I felt him put his hand on my shoulder. He patted me. And when he put his hand through my shoulder, the feeling went through my every part of me was electrified with this powerful love. I don't know how to say it. Every part of me. You know, it's where I come from when I speak, when I share things. Because I know He's always watching. None of us can hide. We got to do our part. We're here to rise for the love of God. We're not here to serve a monarchy and her fake entities or corrupt entities. We've been tricked to think our governments. That has to stop. It will. This is why this is happening. This is why you're learning what you're hearing. Is Jesus. He is the tree of life. When He put His hand on me and I felt that feeling, it was like I felt that feeling of being pulled towards it. I felt the reverse of it, pulling away. I didn't want to let go. And then boom, just like it got pulled away. All that reality got pulled into a little speck of light way, way, way far. And I was floating in space again. I tried to look around and see where I was. All I saw was darkness. Then I felt something pulling me backwards again. Further, like I was going back the way I came. That's what it felt like. But this time, when I stopped and I saw a light coming towards me again, it pulled me. Boom. There I was. I was standing at my grandmother's and my mum's reserve in Barrenland, Brochet, Reindeer Lake. I was standing by the washroom. We're looking at the mirror, and I was showing my granny and my mum my piercings from the tree, from the sacred dance. It was an awesome vision, like to know He's real and to know He's coming and to choose every day to want to serve Him and to think about Him and to share His teachings. It's an awesome feeling. To be heartbroken, alone, and all these things, that none of that matters. None of that matters. Relationship problems, none of that matters. Not paying your bills, all these dumb things of this earth don't matter to Him. And the Queens and her fake Canada and all these things make sure you believe in the fake. So you start serving it out with your whole life. Not once reclaiming your sovereignty and your one path of yourself to your Creator. They want to take that away from you so you can serve their master. It's not no rocket science to figure out who they serve. They're destroying us in the earth. Just think about it. Creator, face like a sun. And Jesus Christ, Yeshua. He was born here to show us the way out of this, what the devil did to this earth. He tarnished it. He made it the valley of darkness when he tricked Adam and Eve to eat the forbidden knowledge, fruit of knowledge. So now this world has been the dark side. To get comfortable and live in it, rich and all this, lavishly and accepted as whatever life, you're lost. This is not why we're here. We're only here for God's rules, God's plan, God's laws, God's way. Our Creator. The Queen didn't put you here. Her monarchy did not put you here. Creator did. Why you want to serve a monarchy in her de facto laws that have no human rights? A corporation has no human rights. It only serves and protects itself. We got to take our sovereignty back. Get rid of the crown and her fake entity. Sue them if we have to. This land belongs to the people. The people are the land. You need to remember this. I had my ascension dream, the ascension vision to the Tree of Life, 2005, January. It was the most awesome, one of the most awesome visions I had. It was real, like you're listening to this. It's very real. He is real. We need to get it right again. Thanks for listening.